Greetings everyone, Nation Bart here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, I haven't actually been feeling that great for the last couple of days. Kind of fortunate that I've been able to do my recording for December basically when I advanced. So I still got one more thing I need to do, and I'm hoping by the time I get round to that, my sore throat would have cleared up and I'll be sounding a bit more normal. I mean, I still sound relatively normal, but that's beside the point. Anyway, today I wanted to want to do something a little different, mostly because the game I wanted to play, or that I have been playing, should I say, the game I have been playing, and I want to talk about today is not my usual thing, and sort of in my opinion, it's not really conducive to the Let's Play format because unless you enjoy me watching me grind out the same activity again and again and again and again for hours at a time, then yeah, you know, don't think it's going to work. So the game in question that I want to talk about is called Palia. It's an MMO. It's a cozy life MMO, and I'm going to invoke a comment that my little brother absolutely hates, and I'm going to say it's a bit like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. It's the Animal Crossing of the MMO world, which comparisons like can be quite misleading in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of them because, to be honest, comparing something to Animal Crossing has this real weird niche, and I can't quite explain because we were talking about this the other day. Animal Crossing is not a good game. Honestly, it isn't a good game, but it is a fun time. It's a good time sink. Instead of it being a game, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but does that actually make it good? I don't know. There's a lot more they can do with it, that's for certain. Um, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, the other one that comes to mind when I think about comparing games to other games is people comparing things to Dark Souls. And I think my favourite one I remember seeing is Crash Bandicoot is the Dark Souls of platforming. No, Crash Bandicoot and Same Trilogy is the Crash Bandicoot of platforming games. It is this, it's weird comparing games that are very different and being like, yeah, it's like no, Crash Bandicoot is not like Dark Souls. But when I can play Crash Bandicoot, and I'm all good at it. Dark Souls is a completely different story. I find Dark Souls hard. Other people probably turn, no, Dark Souls isn't hard. But then again, I find platformers quite relatively easy, in my opinion. I mean, I say easy. I'm just, I'm tenacious with those, but I'm not tenacious with games like Dark Souls. It's just the way I. Anyway, I am getting like way off topic right now. We are talking about Palia now. The gameplay footage I'm going to be showing is it's on the Switch, so probably doesn't have the greatest sort of graphical fidelity, and I'm sure there are frame rate issues and this issue and all these problems. Oh, it doesn't run at 60 frames per second. I'm gonna cry and this game is trash. No, I don't care. I'm quite happy to play a game in potato mode. In fact, back when Skyrim first came out, which I was at university at that point, it was like uh 2011 was it or something like that. Or 2012 maybe. I was at university. I remember seeing the specs saying, "Hey, you can run Skyrim off a laptop with these specs." I'm like, no way, and I did. But I did have to. I installed a low resolution texture pack to actually make it a bit easier to load. The load times were atrocious without it, but it did look like a potato, and I'm fine with that. I am fine with games looking like potatoes as long as the gameplay is good. And that's the thing. As long as the gameplay is good, graphics don't matter to me. Um, and you know, just because it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing doesn't mean it's not Skyrim. Anyway, side point. Palia. So yes, Palia, the fantasy life of MMOs. Now, if cozycore or cottagecore had a game, and I'm pretty sure it already does, but this would be the sort of thing I would be directing people towards. Palia is an MMO that encourages community and cooperation in a peaceful world where you've mysteriously ended up. Now, graciously, the denizens of the land are quite welcoming and give you a small plot of land to look after and, you know, live out your peaceful life however you want. I mean, outside of your plot, there is sort of a lovely little, sort of currently quite small open world for you to explore. Has hidden treasure chests and just like things to find. NPCs to talk to. I mean, these people you can befriend. And there are some romance options if that is something that you are sort of into. I mean, personally, whenever I play games like anything like Harvest Moon or Stardew, that's the least of my worries. I'm a greedy capitalist. I just like making money. And how do you make money? Well, you can engage in a variety of different life skills that are super helpful for you. Things such as mining, fishing, foraging, or cutting down trees, as majority of what you do with that. You can cook, you can farm, you can hunt, make furniture, and catch bugs, I guess. It's feeling a bit Animal Crossing, isn't it? Each skill has a linear progression of unlockable items that help you get to the rarer items in that relevant skill. And one of the ones that I was actually really pleasantly surprised with is the furniture making. Because when you make furniture from one set, or at least part of a set, you gain inspiration for sort of 3 other potential items for that set, and you get to pick one. And it allows you to kind of just like carve your own way through that set. I mean, personally for me, I quite like getting the bookcases, tables, chairs, the beds. Those are the bits of furniture I'm most interested in. I'm not really that interested in the wall-mounted torches or anything like that, but I just think this is a really novel way to approach the sort of furniture making thing. It's not just a case of you go out there, you buy the recipe, or the recipes are unlocked as you just level your way through the skill. Now each skill has a maximum of 10 base levels, and after that you've basically mastered that, and you can keep going up to, I think the maximum at the moment is level 50, but you don't really unlock anything new past level 10. To keep you kind of going through order, you do have these weekly challenges. The weekly challenges are set per sort of skill, and they give you medals, which you can then use in the relevant skill shop to get some other accessories, other just like interesting, mostly aesthetic things. Though I think with like the mining and stuff, you can get like things, a compass that points to rare ore locations, and just little things like that. So exploring the world feels very Breath of the Wild. This is the Breath of the Wild of MMO games. Hang on, I'm pretty sure that's Genshin Impact, but that's beside the point. I mean, you have your glider that you unlock as you progress through the main story, and you also have stamina that appears when you're scaling cliffs. Though the stamina on the cliffs can be a bit weird at times, and you can find yourself jumping up cliffs quite easily. I mean, the game is not perfect. There's going to be bugs and glitches and just things that need to be sort of patched as time goes by. As I think the game only came out, it didn't come out too long ago, and it's only become available on Switch quite recently as of me doing this video. Not to hark too much though on the comparisons to Breath of the Wild, though it is probably the easiest thing I can compare it to right now. Even like the initial opening of the game was quite like when you wake up, or I say you wake up, you materialize in like this shrine, and you learn a little bit of basic movement controls, and you got a wall to scale before you get that fantastic glamour shot of the landscape as you emerge from a cave. And currently, as I sort of am doing this, there are 2 areas that can be explored of relatively decent size. I mean, the beginner area is a decent size, but the second area is actually quite expansive, as it's split down the middle by this very imposing ruin in the middle. It should be noted in this game there is no real threat in this game. You're not going to get down the road and get mugged by some goblins or mauled by wolves. And to be honest, the hunting function's the closest to combat, but your prey is more likely to flee from you than to engage in actual combat with you. Could I see this changing in the future? No, not really, because I think it goes against like the core tenet of the gameplay, and I must admit, I'm totally fine. I mean, your core tenet is that this is sort of like a very cozy, calm sort of thing. The last thing you want is you just want that stress of, you've gone a bit too deep and you're worried that, you go around the corner and suddenly that Fenrir is there and he's going to just eat you for breakfast. Another aspect of the gameplay I'm really enjoying is the cooperative element. Now, admittedly, when it comes to MMOs, I'm quite introverted, which seems a bit counterintuitive when you talk about an MMO, but that's just how I enjoy experiencing these things. I just enjoy sort of exploring the world and finding things and just progressing in my own kind of way. So with Palia, you are on a server and you are in a public instance. There are going to be other people who are running around living their best life alongside you, and just because someone is running towards that resource node to collect it, it doesn't mean you can't contribute to mining that or cutting down that tree. Because regardless of how much you contribute, everyone involved will get equal rewards from that resource node. And the game is transparent about doing this. In fact, there is a very detailed etiquette of what is expected of the players. And actually, certain resources require you to work with other players, such as the flow infused trees, because their health regenerates, and you basically just need a huge amount of you to just do DPS to it effectively. And there's also the higher tier hunts that require a small level of coordination using different types of arrows to nullify their special effects, or even slow down how fast they flee from you. And I think it's this lack of competition for resources I find quite refreshing for me, because I know when I've played other MMOs, particularly when you have like public spaces, particularly for like rare hunts, it's whoever gets that finishing blow is going to get the rewards, and it's just nice that I don't have to worry about that. Now, I should have mentioned this earlier, but this game is free to play with a premium store, which at a glance is only for clothing options for your character. This doesn't say that the basic wardrobe doesn't have a fair amount of choice, and the character creation is relatively robust. I think it was something that Emmy said, that I'm frustratingly easy to recreate in games like The Sims, and which I can't tell if that's a slight on how I look, quite generic maybe. Nonetheless, right now, besides the premium outfits, there isn't any accessory crafting for characters. So I honestly hope they bring something in for that. As as much as I love my little froggy bucket hat, I'd like to have like clothing items that I've earned through my craft and just like being that little bit tenacious. I mean, ultimately, the game is a grind, and I don't mean that in a negative way. So, grind is probably the wrong term to use, as that holds, in my opinion, way too many negative connotations. As it stands, there are no decorative items or tools that are locked behind any kind of premium currency. There's no subscription track, so you're not getting sort of special items just because you've paid a little bit of money that you're paying on a monthly basis. There are seasonal items, but I'm hoping those are on a kind of a rotation. I can't see the Christmas items that are available this year being different from the ones that are necessarily going to be available next year. So everything that is on your plot of land is mainly a testament to your commitment, your dedication, and your imagination. Everything has been earned, and you haven't been fast-tracked to success, and that's all I really want from games like this. I love looking at the stuff that I've made and thinking to myself, I made this, I earned this. Or if I haven't got it yet, I can look at items and say, that is what I'm going to get. I'm going to try saving up 50,000 gold to get that high-capacity storage chest. Though that might be on the back burner for a bit, because I kind of really want to expand my house with the sort of the modular room thing they have going on, which I really enjoy. Alternatively, I could just keep my hoarder mentality in check. So I'm keeping an eye on this, and I might use some time to keep people up to date on developments with this game, and also just give you a tour of my plot once I've got things in a little bit more order. But for now, I'm quite content to give it more of a review than a let's play, as games like this and me making meaningful progress is just, well, that just doesn't happen. Ever. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this sort of overview of Palia. I think I referred to it as a review during the video. It's not much of a review, truth be told, because it's been mostly gushy praise. Now, there are issues with the game. There are some minor glitches and minor bugs. And I did have one time when the game locked up once during one of the cooking mini games, because when you do the cooking, you go through a series of mini games. But I had it once lock up there, so I should restart the game entirely, which meant I ruined my recipe. That was sad, but not a huge issue. Other issues, sometimes when you're looking at your recipes, it doesn't show you all the items unless you have come back and go back into it and show you all the items that you're missing in that recipe. I'm not quite sure why. But it's little things that aren't too damaging to the overall experience, just ever so minor little things. Now, I do apologize that some of what I was saying doesn't quite correlate with the footage. It's only because I did like a couple of hours worth of recording for the game footage. I thought, yeah, that should be fine. Then I looked at the script that I put together for the things I wanted to talk about. I'm like, I think I've covered that, and I think I've covered that. And you're like, oh no. And then yeah, when you get into the editing part, and you're like, I'm not quite sure I got everything now. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. There'll be links to my socials in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for joining me. So this has been a bit of an overview of Palia, and do you know what? I really do encourage you to pick it up and give it a play. It's free to play. You've literally got nothing to lose, and unless you've kind of got an addictive personality, and then you've got a lot of time you might lose on something like this. It's not for everyone. But for those it is for, my God, you're going to enjoy it. It's just charming, it's enjoyable, and there are no pay to win elements so far. Now, my understanding is they're not planning to do any, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, you can click on me right there. Otherwise, over there, there'll be some other things you can watch, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.